Married to Medicine. Let's get into it. Let's talk about the few things that is rememberable that I can remember off the top of my head, because unfortunately I can't find my notes. So LaToya doesn't really seem as invested as Anelia is. Anelia seems like she just wants her to be around all the time, and LaToya is just, I don't need to have you around me constantly. But I think that Anelia is just like one of those people who is new to the neighborhood. She doesn't know anybody. She doesn't have any friends. Toya, it took Anelia under her wing, inviting her to the clubs that she's a part of. One of the most popular things in the neighborhood that they do is play tennis. She takes her on the tennis team, but she was just like a little rude and was like really into her game. And I was just, I mean, like, I understand, like, if you take something seriously, you may not necessarily want to take out the time to really teach somebody how to do something, but what's the point of putting her on your team without helping her? I mean, Anelia does suck at tennis. I mean, she did not hit not one ball. I don't think that she did. They're not on the same plane when it comes to this thing called friendship. And Toya has the same problem that a lot of people have when they come on these shows. They don't want their friends to be friends with the other cast member. You want them to ice themselves out and to be isolated from everybody else, which doesn't make any sense because it is a show and she is supposed to get to know all these women regardless if she's a friend of yours or not. I mean, you're gonna bring her around to different events and different parties where these women are. So it doesn't make any sense that you would want her not to connect with certain people. I'm just saying, you're part of a show. So, I mean, I feel like, you know, your whole mindset, Toya, of Anelia inviting Dr. Contessa to her party, you seemed annoyed by it. Like, you don't know her. Well, she don't know you really, and she doesn't really know anybody else really on the franchise. So what are you talking about? You like, make it make sense. Quada's not a regular cast member anymore. She's a friend. So she went to Dr. Heavenly's house. They're catching up. Dr. Heavenly asks Quad about her relationship with Toya, and she was just like, everything is fine. Are you sure? He handed Quad the phone and was like, watch this. And when I tell you that Toya drug Quad to filth about her purchasing her home, and then Quad just goes off and allegedly she said that Toya begged, stole, and lied in order to get her house. Toya got a house loan and then took out another $100,000 personal loan to buy her house. She couldn't buy out the house in full with just the mortgage. She needed to get a personal loan. So that's the reason why she was saying, like, you know, you can't talk about people and how the way that they got their homes when you went about getting your home in an unconventional way. So don't act like you had the money in order to really pay for your house, because you didn't. Allegedly, she goes through her husband's money like water. Let's fast forward to the dinner. So the dinner that Anelia's family had thrown was for a celebration. It's called, I believe, Rankin Indians. Please don't kill me, because I don't want to I mean no disrespect, but I think that it's called Rankin or Ranka. But it's a celebration that people have every year pertaining to their children if they have a son and daughter. So it's something that they do every year. So she wanted the ladies to experience her family traditionally does. So it was very kind of her to open up her family and allowing these women to come in. And it was like very disappointing to see how the way that Toya and Contessa acted at this party. I felt like Toya was going to have a problem with her. As soon as she was doing her confessionals and they arrived at the dinner, she was talking about Dr. Contessa's hairpiece. Now, I felt like Dr. Contessa's hairpiece was dope. The fact that she was reading her to filth over things that actually look good. And let's be clear, when it comes to fashion, she definitely out-fashions you, darling. How the way that she looks and pointing out certain things about her, girl, I need you to have several seats and then have several more seats after that. thank you. The family said to the women, thank you for coming to our party. We appreciate you coming out and celebrating a tradition in our culture. We appreciate for you guys coming. And the woman was like, well, thank you for inviting us. But when Anelia had dismissed the children from the table and brought them inside, these women lost their mind. And I know that Dr. Contessa told Anelia that if she wants to get to know her, she needs to get to know her outside of the group. Just get to know her as a person. But when Toya and her was going back and forth, instead of just like getting up and just walking away, I don't know if anybody else paid attention, but she turned her anger towards Anelia. And was just like, if you want to get to know me, and if you want to get to know me, and then she picks up the napkin and throws it on Anelia. That was so disrespectful. Why are you attacking Anelia? First of all, Anelia is Toya's friend. So if you're coming to an event where she's having some type of dinner or something, you know that Toya is going to be there automatically because that's her friend. Dr. Contessa, you was out of line, throwing napkins on Anelia like she's a peasant to an event that she invited you to, and you did it in front of her family. Like, what is wrong with you? That was extremely classless. And her husband was so pissed. He was just like, why did you do that in front of her parents? Like, I understand that you got issues with Toya, but you shouldn't have never disrespected her family by acting out like that. And I agree. And that's the same thing that goes for Toya too. You should have had more respect for being around Anelia's parents and acting a fool. Both of you were disrespectful. And there's so much bad blood that not one conversation can really heal whatever is going on in between y'all two. I just think that it wasn't the time or the place for you to do that. But you standing up and then throwing the napkin on her as she's sitting down in front of her family, in front of her parents, that was so rude. And Toya, I don't know what's wrong with you. You're very angry. You got some issues going on. Nobody really understands what's going on with you, girl. You're upset about something. Whatever is going on with you, you need to make sure that you figure it out within yourself and get your healing. All right, you guys, thank you for watching my latest video on Married to Medicine. Hopefully, I'll see you next week. Ciao.